Hello everybody, my name is RagingRaptor and I welcome you to a new World of Tanks quick review. And today we'll have a look at the VK 168.01 Mauerbrecher, the new German Tier 8 super heavy tank and the 24th of December door tank. So, well, at the moment you can buy it for 41.62 euros or roughly $45-50. And, well, yeah, I played some rounds with, I think it was 12 rounds. I'm at a quite good win rate at the moment, 76%. And, well, I want to show to you the pros and cons of the vehicle, quickly, armor, and a replay in the background. We are also going to talk into it. And lastly, a conclusion of this tank. But first, let's have a look at the armor model. And as you can see, it's quite the interesting one, as it is one of the only tanks in the game still having an MG port weak spot. It's 140mm thick, meaning that even tier 6 opponents should be able to penetrate it. Next up, we have the 150mm thick cupola. Another weak spot is the 130mm thick lower plate. And lastly, and probably in my opinion the most annoying weak spot, is the frontal road wheel. There is quite the big part of this where you are able to be penetrated by tier 5 vehicles with not even a big problem. As you can see, it's 135mm thick. That's a huge problem, especially when you compare this tank to the VK 100-01P. So yeah, on the other hand, you as a tier 8 tank have quite strong armor. If you know how to hide your tank, you can do absolutely amazing stuff. And this is also what I will be going to do in the replay. So otherwise, when it comes to armor, it is only 40mm thick of roof and deck armor. This roof and deck armor can be overmatched by any Russian gun with 122mm caliber or any gun above 120mm end caliber anyway. So yeah, I don't want to go too deep into this right now, so let's jump into the replay and into the pros and cons of the tank. We are on Malinovka in an encounter battle. Luckily for us, no artillery, and it's a tier 8 only game. Probably the game I want to play most often, as it is simply, yeah, most fun in the end. The tank has an amazing alpha, 440 damage per shot for a tier 8 heavy tank is simply amazing. Also, the 630 damage of the HE shots are also absolutely astounding if you are able to nail something like a Stritzwagen into the side, or something like a Rheinmetall Borsig Waffenträger, or Gorilla 15, or a Scorpion G, for crying out loud. Second up, it has great base view range. 400 meters base view range is absolutely really something you should look forward to. I play this tank with tank gun rammer, vents and optics. With a great crew, I get up to 481 meters of view range, as you can see on the left hand side. It has strong armor, as we already established, and I made some dots there because later on you can see it already, it's littered with weak spots. It has also, as you probably could see, a decent accuracy on the move. You can enhance this even more if you decide I don't need view range and go for a vertical stabilizer, and you should be good to go to do your decent enough snapshots on the move. Another amazing and strong point of this tank is its 1700 hit points. This is a great value. And why this is great, I have this here prepared, meaning if, for example, you are trading each of your shots with a tank which has, for example, a 390 Alpha gun, typical tier 8 heavy tank. You have 1400 HP, oops, a little bit too much, let's quickly make a break here. We have 1000, gonna delete that again, we have 1700 HP, you can divide that 390, meaning you will survive roughly 4.35 shots. And well, we say it's 4 shots, and we are going to multiply that with, not that bottom, 4 times 440, and you can see already if you're able to trade against a 390 damage gun, you will do 1760 damage. Plus you can do another little bit of damage and it will be around 2k, which is for a tier 8 heavy tank already a really good value. Let's make this with a 440 damage gun, as those are the damage guns you will most likely see on tier 10. Multiplying this with 440 and we have obviously 1700, meaning if you can trade against the same damaging gun, you will still do on average 1700 damage, which is again still a great value for a tier 8 heavy tank. And this is one of the big pluses of this tank, if you can trade your shots. And this is, at the moment we are in a meta where rounding around the corner, doing one shot and going back for reload is the usual stuff to do. So this tank actually is pretty practical for the current meta. And right now, this is also something which I really want to show to you guys. This is usually, if I could, there we go, if I could zoom out, this is usually how you play the Mauerbrecher. Why exactly? You want to be able to hide this MG nest weak spot, you want to hide your cupola, and you want to hide your lower plate. And if you are able to find a corner where you can side scrape from the left hand side outwards, you are good to go, and there should be no tier 8 tank, only if they shoot gold, which would be able to penetrate you in such a position. If we go back to the Armour model and we are going to do something like this again, and we say we're going onto a 0-degree angle and driving around like this, you can see, let's go to the live model. Yes, there we go. If we drive around in such a corner and can, what's it called, hide all of those stuff here, we have 325mm effective armor. We have here 250 effective millimeter armor. We can even do the same thing as a usual mouse driver is doing, angling the turret towards the wall a little bit more. We get to 250, 280 and auto bounce on the side. And this is how you want to play roughly your tank. You can even, I think you can even angle it a little bit more. If you drive around like this, in this corner you can see 250, 270mm of armor. This is how you should play your tank. This is also how you should try to drive around. And you can see I start to slightly even angle my turret to the right hand side. Here I tried to penetrate an enemy Mauerbrecher through the side armor, upper side armor. Sadly it didn't work, so yeah. Another great call of this tank is its -8 degrees gun depression. And yeah, right now you can see I tried to bait the shot of the enemy Mauerbrecher. He's not aiming at us, and now you can see I am trying to go for this weak spot I showed to you. With no problem, with AP, I nailed the enemy Mauerbrecher for 450 damage and a D-tracking shot. And as you can see, we can do it this again. It's seriously, this is one of the weak spots which are highly unfair and highly unwanted. We already have 3 weak spots. We do not need a weak spot like this. So yeah. And the last thing, which is in my opinion a big plus of the tank, is its 12.8cm gun or caliber gun, because you are able to overmatch the tier 9 Stridswagen tank, and theoretically you are able to overmatch this part of the armor. It's 40mm thick, so you should be able to penetrate it in any angle. So that's actually a big plus. But now let's go to the cons of the vehicle. It's slow AF. Yes, it is super slow, and you need to, you need to think in advance, like a lot in advance. You need to know and predict what is going to happen in 3 minutes. You will need to predict where you should probably go, where you can face tank the enemy team, where you can make a corridor. Again, already it's littered with weak spots. And yes, do you like tier 10 tanks? Do you like it a lot? Without a problem, a tier 10 tank can penetrate your gun mantlet. Yes, a tier 10 heavy tank can penetrate your gun mantlet without a problem, because it's 230mm thick. This part up here, 235mm thick. Most tier 8 tier 10 heavy tanks, medium tanks, TDs obviously, light tanks even. Now, light tanks have it a little bit harder, but most tier 10 medium and heavy tanks will have no problems penetrating frontally. And this is why you need to actually angle more your gun mandler. But oh, look at that. There's another weak spot which I just noticed. So theoretically, if you are angling in such a way and you're able to hide your cupola and your gun mandler, then you're good to go. The armor will be amazingly strong, as you can see, but this is actually a weak spot here. Another one. That actually feels bad, man. Yes, in tier 10, you will get your butthole ripped apart. And the tanks which will be the most annoying are the Type 4 and Type 5 heavy tanks. For that, I'll show you later. We cleared the hill, we did 2,800 damage so far, and now we decided to drop down. We have our view range. And yeah, the Lorraine 40T is on reload. He has nothing to say against us. We are taking our sweet time and finish the little bugger off. Next up, we have, RT loves you. We are incredibly lucky in that game that there was no RT, but either it is that I'm an older mortis, it is probably because I have 2,700 WN8, but also we are really slow, and RT deals still quite a lot of damage. 250 splash damage from a tier 9 RT is common for you, and every 35 seconds that's going to accumulate in quite a bit. Another weak spot is its bled DPM. Yes, the DPM is not too bad. It's not something like a T34, which is atrociously bad. It's exactly the same DPM as the Defender. And what is this batch at Leon 12T doing? He is just deciding to rush into us. We are bouncing his shells without a problem. Finishing off 3,800 damage. Nice. And lastly, you have a long aim time, 2.48 seconds. But again, when you are shooting on the move and aiming a little bit, it is actually somewhat accurate. And there we go, we were able to do some more bounces, but suddenly Type 95 is going to penetrate our lower plate. The same goes for the WZ, and as you can see, if you get hit here, you are losing your driver. Your driver is located exactly here, because this is the port of the driver. Here is your radio operator, hence the NG nest. If you get hit in a cupola, your commander is dying, and if you are hitting here, as far as I remember, your dear, I'm not sure if it's here or here, your gunner is going to bite the grass. But now that's what was it for the pros and cons. Now let's just finish and wrap off, make a nice little Christmas wrapping for this game. We do another nice shot onto the Emil 1 mirror at 4,498 damage, and yes, this was one of the best games I had with this vehicle. And again, I already pointed out that tier 10 tanks will be your menace. Those weak spots will be your bane, and it will be incredibly annoying to face tanks which know this weak spot and which know that you have 12.38 seconds reload time. I had a game where it did fairly decent 4,000 damage, yes, but there was an A50 which exactly knew where to aim and exactly always came around the corner when I was, well, on reload. And here I had to repair my tracks, and there he is. There is a Type 95 which was quite the annoying little bugger. We reload, we aim properly, and finish him off for our 7th kill. 5,227 damage, 2,231 spot. That was one incredible game. So we're finishing this up with the end game screen. And yes, this number here is inflated because of the bonus I got from the collection. But we got a high caliber medal, a steel wool medal, and a Top Gun, plus the Acetanker with 90% accuracy. We were highest of them all in our team. We did twice as much damage as Overhaul, as much damage as the Oho and the Emil 1 combined. It was certainly an amazing game. 1,811 base experience, that's an incredible amount of number. And yes, if you are in a tier 8 only game, if you are top tier, you are going or you should be able to carry the game and wreck some faces if you know what you're doing. 21 shots, 19 hits, 16 penetrations, 600 damage sniped, 3,320 blocked, 2,231 damage spotted. And lastly, we received 17 hits, 5 penetrations, 12 non-penetrating hits, and well, 136,000 base experience earned or credits earned, and another additional 78,000 from the collection bonus. I want to quickly go through other things. This was another game. I'm going to review that in a different video, but yes, there are also games like this where I did 0 damage. There are 2 games with 0 damage. Surprise, surprise, they were in tier 10. And this game was simply atrocious. The enemy type for heavy was spamming HE only. He hit the weak upper armor here once for 620 damage. He hit the turret cheeks for another 583 damage. And he hit the upper front plate for another 500 damage because herp HE. Sadly enough, I bounced his weak spot, his side weak spot, like when he's showing you his side, he has this angled flanks. I sadly bounced that one with gold. 260mm of penetration, should be able to penetrate it, hence why I died. So yeah, 0 damage games can happen, especially in tier 10 games where, well, everybody has enough penetration to penetrate you frontally, especially through the turret. And lastly, this is what I want to show you. This is from the game on Malinovka, which we looked at. And yes, I'm not kidding. This is how I penetrated the Mauerbrecher in that angle, because this armor behind the tracks is so darn weak. And as you can see, every single shot was an T-tracking shot, meaning it is absolutely amazing for the enemy. Yes, you are getting screwed over a lot. In conclusion, I played with this tank 12 games, and what I noticed is, even though I had 2 0 damage games, I wanted to play more of this tank. It was in the end fun. You have a great amount of armor if you are top tier, and this is what you're looking for. If you're top tier, you can wreck havoc. You are not as fast as a defender. You do not have no weak spot as a defender. You have roughly the same cannon, or the same gun. Just your gun is a little bit better in my opinion, as it has better soft stats. You are extremely heavy. You have no problems pushing around enemies. Sadly enough, also allies, so watch out with that one. And you can ram enemies away for a ridiculous amount of damage, even though you're driving just 20 kilometers per hour. In conclusion, I like to play the tank. It has a skill ceiling. Knowing where you need to stay, being able to side scrape from those left-hand corners where you can hide your lower plate, where you can hide your cupola, your MG nest. If you know those spots, the tank starts to rise to its skill ceiling. And it's a medium one. It's easy to play, just angle a little bit, just shoot. You can trade perfectly because of your high HP pool, because of your high damaging shot, your decent penetration. You can trade decently, but if you truly master that tank, it is a good tank. And once again, thank you so much for watching. If you're watching this on the 24th of December, have a great Christmas time with your families. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you all later.